Hi everyone, hope all of you are fine and safe, and welcome to biology class. Our today's lecture is all about transport across cell membrane. Here you can see a plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is a permeable membrane. Some molecules can move across the membrane and some cannot. There are two ways for molecules to pass through this membrane. So here we have two types of cellular transport. The first one is passive transport and the second one is active transport. So what is the difference between them? In passive transport, cell does not use energy. It means cell is doing all the things without using any kind of energy. And there are the examples of the passive transport: diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. Let's move towards the active transport. The active transport in which the cell does use energy. And what is the energy of the cell? You know very well. The energy of the cell is called ATPs, means adenine triphosphate. So, there are the examples of the active transport: protein pumps, endocytosis, and exocytosis. You can see in the passive transport, all the molecules are moved high to the low. And the active transport, you can see all the molecules are moving from the lower to the higher level. So in a passive transport, here we are going to learn about the diffusion. Diffusion is a random movement of molecules from one area, means from the higher area or from the higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. Diffusion is a passive way for molecules to enter or exit a cell because no cellular energy is needed. It's a fact that no cellular energy is needed to bring it. The movement of molecules continue until the molecules are equally distributed in the whole area. The movement of molecule across the cell membrane or within the cell membrane occur due to diffusion. So the rate of a diffusion depend upon the temperature, size of a molecule, and type of the system, means diffusion system. Some examples of diffusion, which is very common, it is when we add few drops of a dye in a water beaker. Then after some time, the molecules of dye are equally distributed in the water. When we spray an air freshener in our room, then after some time, a fragrance is spread in whole the room. These are the two very interesting examples of diffusion. Simply, you can say that from the higher concentration, molecules move towards the lower concentration without using any kind of a cellular energy is called diffusion. Let's move towards the second type of passive transport, which is facilitated diffusion. The diffusion of molecules across the cell membrane by means of carrier proteins present within the molecule is called facilitated diffusion. So, because there is no need of cellular energy for the movement of molecules, the proteins or transport proteins allow particular molecules for diffusion, like glucose. The rate of facilitated diffusion is higher than simple diffusion. Okay, in this picture you can see that the protein channels are moving from the extracellular spaces and then there are intercellular spaces. Let's move towards the passive transport, the third type. It is osmosis. Osmosis is a net movement of water across the semi-permeable membrane from an area of lower concentration of solute of an area of higher concentration of solute. Here is the picture of osmosis in plant cell. So the membrane separated the two areas and solute is unable to pass through the membrane. Water will tend to flow from the area thus has less solute to the area with more solute. The movement of water molecules remain continuous until both solutions attain equal concentration of water. It means that we are talking about the water level in the plant cell. It means in the first cell you can see it is a normal cell. In this, an hypertonic solution. And after that you can see that the movement of the molecules is continue until it reaches to the equality. Okay, let's move towards the filtration. Filtration is a process in which water molecules and extremely small solutes are forced to move through selectively permeable membrane. Remember, we are talking about selectively permeable membrane, and small solute are just forced by a water pressure or blood pressure. The material obtained after filtration is called filtrates. In filtration process, only those molecules can pass through the membrane which are smaller than in size, and for them it is very important that the size of a molecule is too much small. Okay, so large size molecules cannot pass through this membrane. The common example of filtration in human beings is a filtration of water wastes from blood in the kidney while holding back blood cells and proteins. Okay.